Lunch is always kind of hectic because you're either at work and need to eat a desk lunch, or you're working from home, or you're running errands, and you don't want to spend a lot of your time making something, but at the same time, you don't just want to be grazing your fridge or snacking randomly throughout the day. I already have a ton of very easy meal prep friendly lunch recipes on my blog, but in today's video, I'm going to show you some recipes that are easy to customize based on whatever ingredients you have on hand or whatever produce you might be growing in your garden, if that's your thing, which also brings me to the sponsor of today's video, Garden. Let's go downstairs and I'll show you my hydroponic AI garden. It's super cool. Garden just released the Garden Home Kit 4.0, which is the newest generation of its AI-powered vertical garden. The setup's pretty similar to their older models. We have a base water tank here and these columns where you insert your Y cubes, and all of the plants are grown hydroponically, and it uses AI technology to let you know when you need to trim the roots, add more water, etc. This new model is even better with thicker columns, better suction on the columns, sunrise and sunset modes for better lighting adjustments, and real-time water measurements. Plus, it's 20% more efficient. I love my garden because it makes gardening so easy, and I think this is such a great product, especially if you live in a tiny space. For me, I live in a colder climate where I can't grow certain things all year in the winter or in the summer because I get too much direct sunlight. So for me, the garden is an easy solution to have fresh produce year round, and I love how it only takes me about 10 minutes of maintenance per week. Really, all you have to do once you set up the structure is pop in your Y cubes. They come out super easily. Occasionally trim the roots and then make sure the tank is filled with water and the fertilizer. The technology in this is super cool. It also has a very user-friendly mobile app where you can check on your real-time water, check on the life of your plants, or even turn on vacation mode if you want your plants to not need as much water while you're out of town. I'll be using this lovely produce and all of these easy recipes, and you can too. So if you want to check out Garden for yourself, go to the link in the description of this video, and you can use code from my bowl for a free $50 gift card with the purchase of a Garden Home Kit. I think this is great if you're new to gardening, want fuss-free gardening, especially if you live in a small space. And Garden also has a 60-day money-back guarantee if you don't love the product. I'm gonna go ahead and harvest a few things so I can make our first lunch recipe. The first recipe we're going to be making are salad rolls or Vietnamese spring rolls, though this recipe definitely isn't super traditional and more of a throw whatever you have in your pantry in a roll, and it's a delicious and very refreshing lunch. Right now I'm bringing some water to a boil in my electric kettle. Salad rolls are made with these rice paper wraps that you can find at most grocery stores. For some reason mine only had purple ones, so we're getting a little extra colorful today. And the rolls are often stuffed with rice or noodles, though I will say if I'm in a hurry for lunch, sometimes I just stuff it with veggies. But today I'm going to be using these instant mung bean noodles. I love these, and I always keep them on hand in my pantry because you only need to soak them in boiling water for a few minutes for them to soften up. Similar to the rice paper, you only have to soak this in water for a few seconds for it to soften up. So this is a great lunch if you have a bunch of produce in your fridge that you want to use up, and it's very easy to add in your protein of choice, etc. Today I'm keeping things very easy. I harvested some herbs and greens from my garden. I love this tat soy. It's kind of like bok choy, but it comes in two different colors, and it's, I would say, a little bit more tender, so you can eat it raw as well as cooked. And then for my other veggies, I'm using what I have in my fridge. I already have some pre-shredded carrot, which is going to come in super handy. You can just toss it in the roll. And I also have a cucumber. I'm just gonna slice up a few pieces of this on a mandolin to save even more time. And this is gonna add some nice color and crunch to our rolls as well. And then I obviously like to have my lunch be filling. So I wanna have some form of carbohydrates, my noodle, some veggies for some multivitamins and minerals, and some form of protein. When I'm making salad rolls, I like to buy the pre-seasoned tofu from the grocery store to add a little bit of extra flavor. So you could use plain tofu if that's your thing as well. I do think when you buy salad rolls, they'll either have fried tofu or plain tofu in it, but this is more of like a little hack to get some extra flavor in. So this one is a teriyaki super firm tofu, which I'm just going to slice up. But first my water came to a boil, so I'm just going to cover these mung bean noodles with all of the water and then let this soak while I prep the rest of the roll ingredients. All right, we got our tofu down. It was a little saucier than I thought it was going to be. I'm going to cut it into thin, long strips and probably put a couple in each roll. You could easily use thinly sliced bell pepper, some onion, avocado is really good if you have that on hand, or just keep things simple. I mean, honestly, when you get these out of restaurants, it's usually just like lettuce and carrot and cucumber and like a peanut sauce, and that's really satisfying and delicious too. But I love how you can sort of make the flavors different at your own house based on whatever you have on hand. So it took like 30 seconds to prep all of our filling ingredients. I did forget to mention I'm going to be using some cilantro, Thai basil, and a few leaves of fresh mint for my herbs for these that I also grew in my garden. I'm just going to slide this up, and we're going to need a bowl of warm water. This one does not have to be boiling, so you can just use your kitchen sink. You're going to place each individual rice paper in the water for a few seconds. You'll know when it's ready because it's going to get a lot more tender. Then we're going to transfer this to a non-porous surface. I'm using a plate. You could also use a plastic cutting board. And from there, you can just add all of your filling ingredients. And once it's stuffed to your liking, you're just going to roll it up like a burrito. Fold the sides in and roll it up. And the rice paper, as it sort of comes back to room temp, is going to sort of seal itself. You're just going to repeat this technique with the rest of your ingredients, and your salad rolls are complete. I will admit, my wrapping skills are not the best, but what's inside is what matters most. If that's not a metaphor, I don't know what is. Pro tip, whatever you put on the bottom is going to show up on the top first. So if you want to get like pretty with it, maybe put your herbs on the bottom or cucumbers or your tofu if that's what you want to see. Now, salad rolls are traditionally, if you go to a restaurant, served with a peanut dipping sauce, which you can make, or you can buy like a pre-made one. I don't have that, and I think most days on lunch, I don't really want to whip up an extra sauce. So my little like hack, it's very non-traditional, but I like to put a little dumpling sauce in a small jar, and then I just dip my rolls in the sauce, and it adds like a spicy, salty, sweet, and savory sort of flavor that is delicious, and it just adds a little bit extra. Just gonna dip it in a little bit. All right. This is so refreshing. If you've never made these before, I highly, highly recommend. The rice and rice noodles are like the perfect chewy texture. The tofu adds some hardiness, and the veggies are just so crunchy and fresh. Here's his little beauty shot close up. Does he maybe look like Shai Hulud a little bit? You know what, maybe, but it tastes delicious, okay? For our next lunch, we're going to be making what I like to call chopped salad pitas. I've been seeing this trend go around on social media where people basically add a bunch of ingredients to a cutting board, chop it all up, and stuff it in like a wrap or a sandwich. Today I'm going to be using a pita. I'm going with some more of a Mediterranean inspired palette. I harvested a bunch of fresh lettuces from my garden along with some fresh dill and parsley. So from what I've seen, you literally just add everything to your cutting board and chop it up. So I'm just gonna take all of my fresh lettuce. Just going to add my herbs right on top. Let me spread this out a little bit, making it easier to chop. And I'm also going to add, this is about 1/4 of a cucumber. I will say I did pre-chop these because I feel like that would be too much. And then we're gonna add red onion. Going to add about 1 cup of chickpeas for my protein and fiber and to make this more filling. I'm also gonna break up a little bit of vegan feta over the top. And last but not least, top it with some olives. Now we're just going to take a knife and chop this up and use a bench scraper to sort of mix it together. Then we're going to go in with our seasonings. And for this, I'm doing a drizzle of olive oil, red wine vinegar, a little bit of mustard, and salt and pepper. This is where having a bench scraper really comes in handy because you can really get in there and mix things, and also makes it very easy to scoop up your salad or whatever you're chopping. I use this all the time in the kitchen. They are very affordable. I will link a similar one to this in the description of this video if you want to check it out. I guess you could just eat this like so, like a little chopped salad. I'm just going to do a little taste test to make sure everything is seasoned properly. Now I really wanted to make like stuffed pita pockets, but I'm gonna be honest, it was kind of a PITA to find the pita, if you know what I mean. I went to a few different grocery stores. Only one of them had pita in stock, and I had these little holes in it, so I couldn't separate the pita. So I decided to be stubborn, and I thinly cut a pita pocket, and I just ripped it. So I don't think that's gonna work. So we're just gonna make a pita wrap instead, if you will, or maybe it's like a giant pita taco. Hopefully your store doesn't put random puncture holes in their pitas and prevent you from having a stuffed pita, because to me that just sounds like the best. But it's okay, this is still going to be delicious. It is really good. I really like this chopped salad trend. I do think it's a really great way to get a little bit of everything in each bite. I do think I would enjoy this more as a wrap or a stuffed pita, but this is still a good, delicious option. If you're gluten-free, you could also just have a salad. Or if you don't want to bother with the pita and you're more of a salad person, you can serve it with some pita chips, even make it like kind of a dip and chip situation. All right, we've made it to the final recipe, and I love a good salad, so I have to include at least one straight up salad. We're going to be making a Caesar-ish spring/summer salad. I do love a good side salad, but we're making our salad a main today. So we're going to start by making some crispy garlic chickpeas. And this is going to, again, make our salad more filling. I have some chickpeas that I drained. I would normally recommend patting them dry, but you know, I just forgot to do it, so it's gonna be okay. I'm just gonna spray them with a little avocado oil and then add some garlic powder, plus a generous sprinkle of salt. We'll just give this little bit of a mix. And I'm feeling a little extra today and resourceful. I want to make my own croutons, specifically cornbread croutons, because I just think that sounds really delicious today. And I have some cornbread that is a few days old, so it's drying up and I need to use it. So I'm just gonna cut this. I'm cutting up 2 pieces of cornbread. I definitely think this is gonna make a little bit of extra, but that's okay because I can just use it tomorrow. And then again, I'm just gonna give them a little generous spray of avocado oil because they are pretty dry. And I'm gonna toss them up. I have my oven preheating to 415. Wow, perfect timing. I did not plan that. I don't think these are going to need to go in as long as the chickpeas, so I'm going to check on these after probably like 15 minutes, but the chickpeas are probably going to need like closer to 25, 30 until they get crispy. So I'm gonna pop these in, top wrap. And while that roasts in the oven, we are going to be making a very easy vegan Caesar inspired dressing. The recipe will be in the description of this video, but to a high speed or bullet blender, we're going to add some cashews, nutritional yeast, a little bit of Dijon mustard, some capers, olive oil, the juice of a lemon, and a little bit of water to help thin things out. We're just going to blend this up until it's smooth and creamy. The cornbread took about like 15-ish minutes to crisp up. These took more like 20, 25. I'm gonna set them in the background and let that cool. And I harvested a bunch of fresh lettuce from my garden. I kind of want to make like a chunkier salad with whole larger pieces, but because this is freshly harvested and the pieces are maybe a little younger than romaine, I'm only going to gently toss it in the dressing. I'm going to drizzle this on top, lightly toss the lettuce until it's evenly coated, transfer to a bowl, and then I'm going to add the rest of my toppings, including some fresh tomatoes because I think that sounds really delicious. We'll also add the chickpeas and the croutons and a little bit of Parmesan because I don't think it's a Caesar salad without some Parmesan. Mine's vegan though. Time for a taste test. I love the colors in this. I also think this would be great with like some freshly grilled corn too. We're definitely veering more into summer salad than spring, but this still looks like the perfect lunch to me. That's a good one. And that wraps up this video of 3 easy and delicious spring, maybe summer inspired lunch ideas. I hope you guys all enjoyed it. All the recipes are going to be linked in the description of this video if you want to check them out. I also have a ton of other recipes on my blog from my bowl if you want more strict guides or you want a recipe to actually print out. Thank you all so much for watching, and thanks again to Garden for sponsoring this video. Don't forget to use code from my bowl to receive a $50 gift card with purchase of a garden home kit. I hope you all are doing well, and if you have any future video requests, leave them in the comments below. I'd love to make them for you, and I look forward to seeing you in a future video. Bye!